Are you like me and on a carnivore or keto or ketovore diet where you don't eat flour and sweets, but you still have a little bit of a sweet tooth? Let me show you how I make this fabulous dessert. Look at that. Keep watching and I'll show you how I make it. Hello, and welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Christy, spelled with an E, and I am really excited to share this recipe with you. This is something that I came up with. I was really looking for a dessert that was friendly enough to fit into my diet. I'm mainly carnivore, if you don't know already. And this I would consider more of a dirty carnivore because I am using some monk fruit, some vanilla. So it's not full carnivore, but you could call it dirty carnivore, ketovore. It's really, really good. It's a good dessert. It'll be good for your diet. It's made mainly from eggs. So I really wanted to make a cheese Danish. I just had that on my brain and I was like, how can I figure out how to do that that's not using anything with flour or real sugar. I mean, monk fruit sweetener is not technically sugar. Well, it is, but anyways. So something that tastes good but is also good for you, and it really worked. I've made them twice. I've tweaked the recipe slightly and I think I've got it perfect, so I'm here to share it with you guys. So I'm going to get started. I've got cream cheese. I've got a whole brick, that's 8 ounces of cream cheese in this bowl here, with about a tablespoon of monk fruit sugar already mixed up in there. I've got my eggs. I've got some cornstarch. I'm going to make a slurry on the stove in just a moment. But let us begin with the egg separating. Now I have a separate bowl here. I'm going to put my egg whites in this bowl. But the best way that I have found to separate eggs is to put the eggs completely in here and then carefully pick out the yolks, put them in with my cream cheese, and then I can put the whites directly in my bowl. And that way, if I mess up and get an egg yolk that breaks, I haven't ruined my egg whites, because that's the most important part of this dessert. So let's get cracking. I do it 2 at a time. It works just as easily, but I pick it up and just move it back and forth and plop. Same thing. Sometimes they're a little harder to get out of the whites. There we go, and I will speed this up. I'm going to wash my hands. I wash my hands in between each time, but I'm going to speed this up so you don't have to watch me sit here and crack and separate eggs at normal speed. We'll go to ludicrous speed. All right, now that I have all my egg whites all ready to get whipped up, before I whip them up, I am going to put a little bit of cornstarch into my pot. I've got a little bit of water in here, and I'm going to add, I don't measure, so a nice heaping spoonful. We're going to do about 1.5 heaping spoonfuls. Like I said, I don't measure. So we're going to put this on the stove and get it down to where it is not quite a paste, more of a runny paste. You'll see what I mean because I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm going to turn my stove on to medium, and you can see, how cornstarch and water mix. If you've ever played with it before, it can be a lot of fun. But we're just going to get it until it is kind of like a gel almost. It doesn't take very long. You don't want it to cook down for too long. You just want to get it to a nice a nice runny gel. All right, that's a little too thick, so I'm going to add some water to it to thin it down a little bit. Added some water there. I'm not putting it back on the heat quite yet because it got a little too thick. But that's the consistency that we want, right about there. So that's what we want. I'm going to turn my heat off and we'll go back over here to the other counter. All right, now we're going to take our handy dandy hand mixer here to mix our eggs up. But first, we are going to add some vanilla. Again, I am not really measuring, maybe about a tablespoon, maybe not that much, you know, just a little bit. And then once the eggs get frothy, we are going to add the monk fruit with the cream of tartar in there. I just shook some cream of tartar in there. So let's get whisking. I'm going to take a little pause so I can turn my oven on because I forgot to do that. I'm going to turn my oven on to 420 degrees. So that is what we would call the soft peak stage. So we are ready to start adding our little gel mixture in there, a little bit at a time. So this right here is what we call hard peak stage. You see those peaks there? They don't really go anywhere. So those are done. Clean the beaters off a little bit. And then we're going to mix up the eggs and the cream cheese here. I'm going to put just a little bit of vanilla in this as well. Just a bit. A splash. And always, to test your work, you have to lick the beaters. It's going to be nice. This is going to be our filling. The cheese, part of the cheese Danish, if you will. All right. Now for the fun part. I have parchment paper on a baking sheet. And so that these don't stick, I am going to take a little bit of butter and just spread it thinly along. It keeps wanting to roll up on me. And I think that was Lucky who just sneezed. Bless you. I know. There's a lot better ways or easier ways to do this, I suppose. I just do it my way. I'm like, you know, Frank Sinatra over here. I did it my way. Might be right, might be wrong. I don't really care. It's my way. I just do things my way. I don't know. Maybe it's the Italian in me. But we don't want this too thick or it's going to make puddles of butter, and that is not what we want. We just want it to not stick, because I have found that the egg whites will get sticky. And then you can't get them off as easily. And again, wash hands. Now this is the fun part. We are going to take our meringue mixture and we are just going to plop it onto our baking sheet. Does not have to be pretty. Maybe you want it slightly pretty, but it really doesn't have to be pretty. You just want to get it on there in a nice cloud. So that is all I'm doing, is putting happy little clouds all over this baking sheet. And they can be as big as you would like them. I will probably make these slightly bigger. That's a big one right there. Ooh. Put a little one there. I'll make him a little bigger. Look at that. There we go. And we can put one right there. Let's make this one bigger. I'm telling you, these are really a lot of fun to make. I have had so much fun with them. Get as much out as you can. Of course, you don't want to leave any. Now I'm just going to flatten these out just a little bit. We want to give our cheese filling a place to land. So I'm just smushing them down a little bit just to give that something to land on. I don't want to smush them down too much because they will flatten out slightly while they're baking, but you want just a little bit to give them a spot to land. And then lick the spoon, because why not? It tastes good. And for this part, I'm going to use a piping bag to put my filling in, just because it goes easier with a piping bag. So let me fill this up. Get me another spoon. I am bending over the bottom of it so it doesn't go all over my hand. Even though I wouldn't really mind, because then I just eat it out of my hand. But this really makes a beautiful custard. It really does. And not only is it beautiful, it tastes good too. Win-win, right? I want to put a little more in my bag. There we go. Oven is ready. And we are almost ready to put these in the oven. Ooh, had a little bit of a mess there. That's okay. Don't tell anyone. All right, now that we have our bag, and remember I turned over the end so it wouldn't come out where I didn't want it to. And now we're just going to pipe it right on top, right into those little depressions that we made. Again, it doesn't have to be one way. It can be however you want it to be. So, however, whatever shape these come out, that's how you do it. At least that's how I do it anyways. This is just a little one there. give this one just a little bit more. And this will bake up absolutely beautifully, like you will see in a moment. So we're just getting any little bits that we have left in the bag so that we use it all. Because you don't want to waste it. This stuff is really good. Again, like I said, these aren't as pretty as maybe they could be. Doesn't matter. They taste fantastic, and that is all that matters, is they taste good. So, and these are going to go in the oven. My oven is at 420 degrees, and these will go in for 8 to 10 minutes. We just want them to be a little bit brown because we want our custard to still be slightly liquidy. So I'll be back in about 8 to 10 minutes. Look at these. Are these not gorgeous? Ah! And we do have to let them cool a little bit before we can taste them. But they're perfect little clouds. Oh, I can't wait. Are you ready for a taste test? These look like a cloud. Look how jiggly jiggly it is. Look at that. You can see the cream hasn't completely solidified. It does a little bit because there is egg in it, but let's see how it tastes. It's stuck on my teeth a little bit. It is like eating a creamy little cloud, or a cloud with some cream on top. That is really, really, really good. You could also put jam on this if you wanted to, but just like this, absolutely perfect. So, if you've watched this entire video, give yourself a round of applause. And thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend it with me. I really do appreciate it. I hope you give these a try. They are absolutely fantastic. Have a great day, everyone. Oops, I just fell apart. The custard part fell off. Oh well. Have a great day, and I will catch you all later. Toodles.